Is it finally time for you to play Cyberpunk 2077? That's the big question we have today because CDPR put out the Edgerunners update, patch 1.6. This is a huge patch that does a lot to fix some issues with the game, as well as add brand new content and features that people have been asking for a long time, and makes the game even better than the already vastly improved state that it's been updated to thus far. We're going to get into this update, the whole list of patch notes, and let you guys know what is going on with one of the biggest releases of a few years ago that was a really spotty and shaky. Hey, I'm LittleBobby here with 5-9 Gaming Direct, and today we're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and the Edgerunners update. This is patch 1.6 and it is a big one. We're going to start by the wardrobe feature. Now, if you've played MMOs, you've probably heard of transmog before, and if you're not familiar with that, transmog is where you can cosmetically change your armor without having it affect the stats or the perks that you may get on those armor pieces. Now, this is a really awesome thing. It's great for customization and it really makes a game feel more personal. A lot of games have added this kind of thing in, right? We love customization. A lot of people will play Fortnite, and the biggest selling point for Fortnite for a lot of people is that they can put on a skin to look like anything they want. Recently, they had a Dragon Ball Z event, right? They've had Marvel events, but now in Cyberpunk 2077, you'll be able to change how you look. What they've said is you can create up to 6 outfits using the pieces of clothing you own by accessing the wardrobe in any of V's apartments and safe houses, and then switch between them in the inventory panel. That's a big feature, and that's something great for customization. It's going to make you feel like you are really in the role of V. On top of that, we're going to have 3 new gigs, right? Gigs are the little side quests throughout Cyberpunk 2077. The first one is going to be the Concrete Cage Trap. The gig type is SOS Merc Needed. Location is Watson Kabuki, and the fixer for that one is Regina. The next gig is Desperate Measures. The gig type is Thievery. The location is Santo Domingo Arroyo, and the fixer for that one is El Capitan. The last new gig is A Nasty Hangover. The gig type is Search and Recover. The location is Santo Domingo Arroyo, and the fixer is Rogue. So it looks like you Cyberpunk 2077 fans, if you have been playing for a long time, you are going to have some new content to play through and new things to do in terms of those new gigs. But moving right along from that, we are having the new weapons. There are 6 new firearms: the Kappa Smart Pistol, the Senko LX Tech Submachine Gun, the Hypercritical Iconic Precision Rifle, obtainable from the gig Concrete Cage Trap, the VST-37 Power Shotgun, the MA-70HB Powered Light Machine Gun, and the Kyubi Power Assault Rifle. And when it comes to melee weapons, we have 5 new ones for you: the Neurotoxin Knife, an iconic variant of the Blue Fang, the Punk Knife, an iconic variant of the Headhunter, the Claw Axe, the Razor Machete, and the Cutomatic Chainsword. So if you're looking for new ways to explore combat throughout Cyberpunk 2077, you want to start a new playthrough and try some new playstyles, these new weapons are going to let you have a lot more options. And the biggest feature that they have added here, added cross progression feature between platforms. Your latest saves will be automatically uploaded to the cloud so you can continue where you left off easily on other platforms. Cross progression provides the latest save for every save type: quick, auto, manual, etc. This feature becomes available after you log in with your account from the main menu or the in-game load game menu. Cross progression may be limited when it comes to console versions with regional restrictions. You can find more details on the website cyberpunk.net. They're also releasing some secret content based around the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime series that is coming to Netflix next week, September 13th. And they've said added some secrets related to the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime series to be discovered in Night City, including new equipment and new photo mode features. I can only assume that they're going to give us something like outfits or skins, what do they call them? Stickers, things like that, to put over the photo mode photos. One of the cool things that they could do if they really wanted to, and I think would be awesome, is if they let you add in some of those characters or let your character take on the cell shaded appearance of the anime characters. We know it can be done. We see Fortnite do it with the anime looking skins in 3D. I guarantee you if they wanted to do it, CDPR could do it here, and maybe they'll just let us do that for photo mode. That would be awesome. Also in photo mode, we are now going to be able to take photos of Nibbles. Nibbles is the stray cat that you can potentially get as a pet for V in the game. You can invite it to your apartment to live, and so now you can take pictures of the cat, which we all know everyone will, and they will post it everywhere because that's what the internet was made for, cat pictures. Let's be real. We also see another edition of an arcade game called Roach Race. You can now play a brand new minigame using arcade machines located in Night City, including the ones in the North Side, Japantown, and the Glen apartments. Climb the leaderboard to earn special prizes including cash and items, and if you're enjoying Road Race in Cyberpunk 2077, check out the mobile version for Android and iOS. Remember that your high scores in the in-game and mobile versions are separate though. So you guys can check that out. If you play in-game, you can earn extra bonus stuff, cool prizes. Hopefully they make something unique if you get to a certain score threshold. If not, it's nice to get those extra bonus cash and items anyway. So hopefully you can use that throughout your journeys in Night City. And now we get on to the general patch notes. I'm going to go through these as quick as possible, but I'm going to give you a rundown of everything with the exception of the section on PC specific mod things, because those are not really going to apply to everyone. So let's get into it. Gameplay. Inverted camera axis will now also apply to photo mode. Increase the camera rotation angle in photo mode from -60 to 90 degrees to make vertical shots possible. Added an option to modify V's face and body at Ripperdoc clinics. V won't continuously fidget in character creation anymore. Fixed an issue where it wasn't possible to pick up loot from drones. Fixed an issue where it was impossible to pick up loot if it was completely or partially obstructed by foliage collision. Fixed NPC reaction to bumping into them. Fixed an issue where panicked NPCs were idling or crouching instead of using designated hands up animation. If NPCs were staggered or knocked down while shooting, they will now continue to shoot aimlessly. Adjusted some vehicles to the new burnout mode introduced in patch 1.5 and polished the tunes on many others. Added a new AWD performance variant of the Thornton Colby called the CST-40. Fixed an issue where vehicles went in reverse when braking at low speeds. Fixed an issue where jacking out of an access point shortly before the hacking minigame starts and then completing the minigame left the access point active, allowing to connect to it again. Fixed an issue where the bio monitor didn't restore health in some circumstances. Fixed an issue where players' HP went down incredibly fast under the effect of burn if the NPC who applied that effect used the Sendevistan dash. Lowered the selling price of target analysis mod and changed the amount of crafting components required to craft it. For weapons, change the stats of the Stinger Iconic Knife. Attacks against poison enemies will now have 100% chance to cause bleeding. Attacks against bleeding enemies will now have a 100% chance to cause poison. Rearranged weapons from the long blade category to different categories. Move the chef's knife to the knife category. Move the tomahawk from blunt weapons to blades and place together with the new claw axe in the axe category. Move the machete and the kukri to the new machete category together with the new razor machete. Replace the standard butcher's cleaver with an iconic version. If a player owned a butcher's cleaver, it will be replaced with a knife. If a player owned a crafting recipe for butcher's cleaver, they will be granted a knife recipe of matching rarity. Balanced sniper rifles. Sniper rifles should now be only able to one-shot enemies after the player invests in this weapon archetype. Lower damage output for the Overwatch sniper rifle. The Nekomata sniper rifle will now be easier to handle while charging. Lowered the price of the Slotomatic power pistol available for purchase from vending machines. Sir John Fallistiff will now have a new iconic effect, increasing damage when hitting NPCs in the face. It will also have a chance to stun enemies with strong attacks. Gamepads will now be constantly vibrating while holding the weapon. The 05 sniper rifle will now have a new iconic effect, causing bigger explosions that can light the targets on fire. The more enemies are burning, the bigger the buffs are to the player is to getting a crit chance and reload speed. It will now come with a unique scope and require 20 body to equip. The Divided We Stand assault rifle will now have a new iconic effect. Bullets will now have a greater chance to miss the target with a chance to explode into biohazard clouds. Biohazard clouds are guaranteed to poison nearby enemies. The Yinglong submachine gun will now have a new iconic effect. The chance to cause EMP explosions has been significantly increased. Clip size has been increased to help wreak havoc with EMP explosions. Remove the scope slot from Tech Precision Rifles, M179 Achilles, and Widowmaker. If the player owns such a rifle with a scope attached, the scope will be removed and placed in the inventory. Different types of knives will now have their own specified return times indicated in their tooltip. Fixed an issue where Skippy had extremely low DPS on saves made on a patch 1.3 and 1.31. Fixed an issue where it was possible to buy craft ammo after reaching the ammo cap, wasting money and components. Fixed an issue where Mantis blades with damage mods emitted blinding lights upon use. Melee quick attacks won't apply status effects from the currently equipped and drawn weapons anymore. As for perks, added new poison perks, corrosive poison and critical antidote ninjutsu skill tree, replacing hasten the inevitable and neurotoxin perks respectively. Fixed an issue where the gun whisperer perk didn't work with the JKE-X2 Kenshin and the DR-12 Quasar. Rebalance the long shot perk. Now it grants bonus damage only up to a certain distance threshold. Fixed an issue where crafting an item using an ingredient with a quest tag may not have removed that ingredient from the inventory if the player had an Ex Nihilo perk. For quests, added more secrets in Night City to be discovered by players. Due to some technical challenge, this change is not available for the previous generation of consoles. Various small fictions to interactions in V apartments and safe houses. V will now sleep in a bed for an amount of time set by a player. Automatic Love. Fixed an issue where Lizzie's club was closed during regular open hours. Dream On. Using the vents to climb to the roof from the secret control room has been made easier. Epistrophe. The Glen. Epistrophe. The Badlands. Quests will now be properly failed if the player destroys Delamain. I'll Fly Away. Scorpion's car will no longer glitch while driving off the map. Tapeworm. Fix an issue where the coughing animation played with a delay causing visual issues. The Ballad of Buck Ravers. Kareem's Samurai merch is back in stock and available anytime at Cherry Blossom Market after completing the quest. The Heist. Fix an issue where taking out enemies using a quick hack could result in the optional objective wait for an opportunity to take out the guards to remain until the end of the quest. The Hunt. Fixed an issue where save game could become permanently disabled after the brain dance sequence. The Pickup. Fix an issue where leaving mid-quest could result in stopping all combat music. Open World. Gig, Freedom of the Press. Fixed an issue where further quests from Regina were blocked if Max died during the gig. Gig, Getting Warmer. Fixed an issues of enemies spawning before the gig started, whereby if killed, the player couldn't use the coolant on Bugbear. Gig, Getting Warmer. Fixing Wakoko's car driving away slowly and then disappearing into the player's view. Gig, Hot Merchandise. Fix an issue where it was possible to kill Rebecca before activating the gig, blocking progress. Gig, Jeopardy. Fix an issue where it was possible to talk to some of the NPCs in the funeral home despite their being dead. Gig, Olive Branch. Fix an issue where the car was reactivated with the talk to the man in the trunk objective if the car with Alex Pushkin blew up. Gig, Playing for Keeps. Fix NPCs' incorrect reactions after a fight in the Kashu Hatten bar breaks out. Gig, Trevor's Last Ride. Fix an issue where Trevor's body didn't spawn in the freezer. Fixed an issue where Psalm 11.6 might not have dropped in a suspected organized crime activity in Northside. Added the polycarbonate nanoweave techie harness outer torso piece from the techie set as loot obtainable in the world. Added the lightweight hardened rubber media steel toes media set shoes as loot obtainable in the world. Readjusted the conditioning of some radio news related to gigs. As a result, there should be some more radio news played in the game. As for UI fixes, we're seeing added item preview so that it's possible to see an item on V before you buy it. Added an option to switch off radio subtitles in the sound category and settings. They will be switched off by default. Items placed in the stash will now properly show their monetary value in the tooltip. Rearrange some options in categories in the game settings. Fix an issue where languages using double byte characters, Korean, simplified Chinese, Japanese, traditional Chinese, displayed overlapping save file names and dates in the load menu screen. Fixed an issue where the number of available pieces of gear for different slots didn't update after disassembling gear. Optimized performance in the inventory and vendor screens. Fixed certain cases where a dark rectangle could remain stuck on screen. Various small UI adjustments and improvements in the character creation, crafting, and message menus, pop-ups, and quest trackers. Added the ability to enable additional content through the additional content menu. Fixed an issue where the number of available attribute points displayed on the screen after leveling up was incorrect. As for visuals, neon rims on bikes come in different colors. Added new character hairstyles in the character creation. Fixed certain instances where vehicles could spawn misaligned with the surface of the road. Fixed an issue where cars and traffic clipped into each other when slow HDD mode was enabled. Addressed an issue where floating and indestructible parts were present when destroying cars. Improved the dynamic resolution scaling. Fixed an issue where the last shot fired from a gun didn't have recoil animation. Totally Mortal. Fixed the grass clipping through the floor on the way to Yorinobu's office. Audio. Added SFX of reloading weapons while carrying a body. Improved knife throwing SFX. Stadium Love, 6th Street party music will now be louder. I Fought the Law, fixed an issue where triggering the fight with thugs in the market and then leaving the area without killing them caused the combat music to play indefinitely. PC specific, adjusted graphic setting presets to provide a higher quality setup. Steam Deck, fixed an issue where the dedicated preset was applying ultra settings instead of properly crafted graphic settings. Steam Deck, fixed an issue where the game became unresponsive after trying to change key bindings. Console specific, Xbox Series S, added a new performance mode which can be enabled in settings, video, graphics mode. FPS is aiming at 60 and 900p with dynamic resolution scaling in 800p to 1080p range. Added Brazilian Portuguese support for disc copies in Portugal, PlayStation codes CUSA 16579 and CUSA 25194. Addressed an issue where switching between first-person perspective and third-person perspective had a noticeable delay. Added the issue with input lag in ray tracing mode on next-gen consoles. Stadia specific, added the missing key bindings for toggle walking and holster weapon keys. Miscellaneous, added support for Razer Chroma. Fixed a temporary FPS drop when opening the map or inventory on PC and Stadia. Made some adjustments and improvements to the Arabic language localization. There are also a couple ones for modding, but like I said, you guys can go to the website cyberpunk.net, check out the blog, and they'll have links for that specifically because I know not everyone mods, and that's only on PC anyway if you install these specific modding tools. I am personally super excited. I bought Cyberpunk for $5 over the holidays this last holiday season, and I have yet to play it, even though they came out with the PS5 upgrade. It's been on my backlog, but with all these changes and the fact that new DLC was announced and Keanu Reeves will be returning as Johnny, we're going to see a lot of improvements coming to the game and a lot more content coming up. As far as I understand, all this DLC is still scheduled to be free, so if you have not jumped into Cyberpunk, check it out, especially if you have a copy like I do that you got super cheap and you just haven't got to it yet. They have done nothing but improve this game since the next gen updates came out specifically. One of the big things they did announce though today was that the last gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, those are going to be left behind. They will not be receiving the new DLC, and they didn't even receive, as you heard from the patch notes, some of the changes that went into effect today for next gen consoles and PC. So keep all of that in mind because there are a lot of technical limitations. They're trying to leave those behind, and I think that was a big part of what made this game so hard for them in the first place to get out properly, was that they had to accommodate for all those older gen consoles, which I think they really shouldn't have done. There should have been a delay, and they should have come out specifically for next gen consoles and PC. If they had done that, I think this game would have a much better reputation. But personally, now that we see all this stuff going into effect for CDPR and for Cyberpunk, this is great news, and anyone who's new, I think, is going to have a much improved experience over anyone who played it initially. The other thing is that if you are a returning player or someone who played it before, you might be encouraged now with new weapons and new things to collect, new things to explore, new secrets to find, to go back into the game and check it out. But all that being said, what are your thoughts? Are you excited if you're a fan of Cyberpunk? If you're not, you've maybe thought about getting it. Are you thinking about getting it now with all these improvements that we listed off? Let us know down in the comments below, guys, because we would love to hear what you think about this huge 1.6 patch. And also, are you going to watch this Cyberpunk anime? It looks pretty gorgeous. The art style looks amazing. I'm going to check it out personally. But hey, I'm LittleBobby here with 5-9 Gaming Direct. I want to thank you guys so much for watching today, and we hope to see you soon.